Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, we're on the subject of President Duterte and America. And does he hate America? The question is, does he hate America? If President Duterte personally hates America, what does it actually mean for the average person in the street? The average American in the street, which because I'm a Westerner, I'm automatically an American, even though I still think of myself as being British. Well, of course I do, don't I? But in actual fact, I'm an American citizen, and I feel for that country. That country gave me over 20 years of their hospitality. And I worked hard while I was there, and I think that it's a great country. Do I think that Russia is a great country? Yes, I do. I think that China is a great country, and I think that many, many, many other countries are great. It's governments that seem to get in the way of what is actually an everyday life for most people in all of these countries. I spoke to people in China when everybody was talking about how oppressed the Chinese are. I spoke to people in China and said, do you feel free? And they looked at me, and I'm not talking about beggars in the street, asking them, do they? I'm talking about intelligent people who were enjoying their life as Chinese. Do you feel free? Well, what do you mean? It was difficult for them to process the question. Now, if you ask an American if he feels free, he probably will say that freedom is something that our troops have fought and died for, and even that is a loaded question. What do troops fight and die for? Well, right now it's a very loaded emotional question, isn't it? And one that is difficult to answer because it goes into politics. As soon as you're into politics, it seems to me that you're on shifting sands. Because what politicians want and what the average person in the street wants, then they are quite different things. Now, whether President Duterte hates America, if I go to Manarado or Manilina and say, do you hate America? They probably would say, why would I hate America? America doesn't have any place in my life other than if I see American movies, if I hear people talking in America. It brings me to, I'm an American walking the streets of Taliban. Am I in danger because President Duterte has spoken against something that he feels greatly about, that he feels deeply about? Am I in any danger? When I bought some fruit in the market yesterday, did that person look at me and say, oh, another American, God damn it, or whatever the word is in Visayan for God damn it. I'm sure that there might possibly be one. That I didn't feel any animosity, nor has anyone changed toward me. And I find it very difficult to actually look at the posts that I see in Facebook from intelligent people who are saying, because they're going for their information to the media. And what do the media do? Do the media tell you that a little boy's life was saved in surgery yesterday? Do they tell you that two people fell in love and found happiness? Do they tell you that life is going on in a rice field in China? and that the people there are happy. Do they tell you about what the average life of someone who lives in some part of Russia? No, no, they don't tell you this, because people seem to gravitate towards a negative, and you can see this on some of the channels. I think that quite possibly ours is the only channel which says right up front, this is a feel-good channel. You're supposed to go away from watching any video feeling better if it's on our channel, because other people are handling the bad news so much better than we are. And is it changing your life? Is it changing my life? No, it's not. I'm not. I try not to watch the news. I really do, because all I see is the bad news. What I don't think will be very newsworthy is, I went in months ago when people were talking about feeling safe, where I was looking at posts calling Filipinos thieves, and that they were unreliable, and that they were this and they were that. And I went into Ambacon, the hardware store, and I was standing there, put my hand into my back pocket, and I pulled out a piece of paper that I had my list written on, and I'm stood there waiting to get served, and I feel a tap on the shoulder, and a man handed me 500 pesos, a 500 peso note, and he said, "You drop this out of your pocket." Now, 500 pesos is over a day's pay for any Filipino that are working at what I call grassroots level. So do I find that there is a great level of dishonesty? No, I don't. When we went into a restaurant, I went to Vedasto, and I gave a 50 peso note when I thought it was, or a 500 peso note. It was far too much. I had left it, and they knew that I wouldn't tip 500 pesos, and they come running out after us. "Sir, I think that this is a mistake." And of course, they are honest, and they do that, and that's what I find. So President Duterte is acting as a top government official, and when he speaks against something that the American government are adamant on, then everybody rushes out and says he hates Americans. Well, I don't believe that President Duterte hates Americans. I just don't believe it. And I don't believe that anybody in the Philippines, other than a few which are at the same percentage as you would have in, say, America, who some people don't like this ethnic race, they don't like black people or Chinese people or this people or that people, and they have their opinions, and they're biased, and sometimes they're bigoted, and sometimes they're prejudiced, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're dishonest, sometimes they're thieving, and sometimes they're not. And when it comes to it, all people are like that the world over. Some of them are, and some of them are not. And put in what they are and are not yourself. Fill in the blank space. I don't feel in any danger. I don't feel that someone is going to come into our little church and do us any harm. I don't feel these things. What can we go on? Well, really, when you think about it, when you turn off this video, how will you feel? Will you feel, wow, I better start watching myself? Or will you feel better? I hope that you will feel better. I don't believe that the Filipino people hate Americans. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Americans, in spite of often being very arrogant and trying to show the Filipino people how they do things, not just the Americans, of course, but we're talking about America, they are revered, they're admired. America is still a dream that's actually ingrained like a virus in the average Filipino. You could go to America? Wow. So are they going to go off to a place where they believe that the people are hateful or hate-worthy? I don't think so. So let's keep it to being an awareness of government policy, wherever you are, government policy. And I don't believe that it is the will of the Filipino people that Americans should be in danger. Every country has its nutcases. Every country has its people who are going around there trying to kill, maim, hurt people. And they are in a tiny minority, sorry. They're in a tiny minority. They're not... Yes, someone might kill a person for no reason at all, except in his own crazed mind, in any country in the world. And boy, aren't we having this demonstrated recently? People driving cars into crowds of innocent people, people going into schools or churches or that. The nutcases are out there, and they are a tiny, tiny majority. The rest of us are living our lives happily. Happily. Go about your life and don't feel stressed about danger, because danger is not something that happens to most people. Most people live incredibly ordinary lives, and that's very true. Even though, as that famous author once said, there are no ordinary moments, he meant that you should rejoice in the ordinary life that you have, because for the most part we're all safe. We're all safe. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Enjoy your life. Bye for now.